And we just finished interviewing co-MVP Caden Bailey here at Bishop Gorman High School, ending the 2025 Pangos All-American Camp. Now in this segment, we're going to talk about the rest of the camp and the games we saw in the All-Star games and some of the players. You had me assigned to Court 1 announcing for Baller TV, so on Court 1 I got to see some of the talent, most of the talent. Some of the players didn't, some of the teams didn't play on Court 1, so I didn't see them till like the All-Star game. But some of the players that stuck out to me, like let's see, on Duke, you had Sammy Jackson. He could shoot it.
Very good passer too.
Oh yeah, he was diming some people. Elias Obenya, I thought he played real well.
Elias is one of the, I think, true sleepers in California. High character, high academic. Really showed the ability to have a mid-range game, scoring mentality. I think he's got the work ethic, attitude, and character to kind of long-term be a very attractive prospect for a lot of schools that want to win, plays winning basketball.
Okay. How did Christian Collins look to you this?
He was a little bit under the weather. He was our top prospect here. He had his moments, had a couple highlights there. Kind of struggling through being kind of not feeling well. Couldn't make it his last day. But he had a 16.7 game, a 16.7 rebound game on Monday, and showed flashes of why people consider him a top 3 player in the country, as well as a very, very attractive future NBA prospect.
Hey, he got good size on him, good length and everything, so I like his upside too. How about on Florida State? We had, of course, we talked to Caden Bailey. I didn't see them play. I remember S.J. Madison from the...
Well, Florida State they were the juggernaut for the first 2 days here, and they kind of ran into Duke this morning and got beat and lost the tiebreaker to advance to the tournament championship. But they were blowing out teams prior to that, 95-65 over North Carolina, 103-65 over Syracuse, 68-53 over Virginia, lost to Duke by 2, could have easily been in that championship game. And they had a good chemistry. Caden, obviously, putting up monster numbers for a camp setting, S.J. Madison.
Well, how did Preston Wade look? Because I saw him in the All-Star game. But
yeah, looked like a taller version of David Chappelle. But plays a little bit like Bobby Portis. Kind of plays like Bobby Portis, looks like Dave Chappelle. That's a hell of a combination.
Now that's something, if I had some game, I would show him over and over again.
Let's see who else on here. We flip over to
Bryson Howard was co-MVP.
Oh yeah.
He was on that Florida State
Josh
team.
Howard's son, right? Now is Batee related to Tony Batee?
Well, I forgot which is the Derek or Tony. Derek or Tony, I can't remember.
Okay. I thought Jason Gardner's son, when I first saw him on the first night, he did an excellent job pushing the ball, playmaking. I liked his intensity.
Yeah, a lot of the scouts were raving about his point guard skills, his point guard presence. He was probably arguably as good of a point guard here, especially as an underclass. That was kind of the strength of the camp. We had several really good underclass point guards. Caden Daughtry from Florida, Reese Alston, Ray for Alston's son, very good. Sophomore point guard. Tyler Sutton, who was at Roman Catholic, is headed to OTE from all accounts. Jordan Skyers was a tough, hard-nosed, athletic.
Did he have the dunk at the camp?
Arguably him and Andrew Williford.
Yeah, Williford with the left.
Yeah, there's some good guards here. Obviously, Slim Rogers, Isaiah Rogers, Corona Centennial, rightfully earned his spot in the top 30 game.
Yeah,
consistently putting up good numbers.
He can shoot that
consistently shooting the ball well, making plays. Taurus Bowie, Tennessee native, headed to Spire Academy. He's the first key note recruit for new Spire Academy coach Kevin Boyle.
Okay, from Iowa.
Kevin Boyle from Montverde.
But he played at Iowa. That the same Kevin Boyle used to play back then?
No,
that's a different one.
It's a different Kevin.
Okay, I stand correct. But Bowie was real slashy, slithery, getting to the basket.
He reminded me a little bit of Will Barton, a little bit of Rip Hamilton.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Let's see, who else? Brandon Bass Jr. and Marte Barnes at guard for Syracuse. They were pretty nifty in there.
Yeah, Florida guards play in the Austin Rivers Southeast Select program. For Coach Hicks down there, but Anthony Ricks. I'm thinking Jimmy Hicks. It's been a long day, guys. I apologize.
It's been a long camp.
Yeah, but Anthony Ricks does a great job there. Had a ton of good players. He has VJ Edgecombe. He'll be a top 5 pick in the draft this year.
Okay.
But those guards are good. I think what you had here, you had a very solid camp. Obviously, the history of this camp. And sometimes we get spoiled by the Paolo Bancheros, the Evan Mobleys, and the Anthony Edwards. And that's hard to maintain every year. And what you're seeing across the different platforms, whether it's Nike, EYBL, Adidas, 3SSB, Under Armour, etc., is that as of now, it's apparent that the 2026 class nationally is California heavy at the top, but nationally not as strong as 25 and 24. And not that it takes away from any of these kids who are in the camp this year. It just, you play the cards that you're dealt.
Right.
And I think ultimately you have kids in this camp. A lot of them are vastly underrated by the national scouting types. And there's not many of those guys to begin with anyway, anymore. But It also shows you how difficult a job it is now more than ever to do any kind of reasonable, accurate rankings when everything is so diluted, you have so many different platforms, when you have the calendar compressed, like we had several kids, our injury list of guys that accepted invites to this camp would be a hell of an all-star game. Guys that were banged up, hurt. Mohamedou Diop, who I believe is the best junior to be in California. He got a bad ankle sprain a week before this camp, couldn't go. Taj Ariza, he's hurt. Several other guys are banged up. But nonetheless, they left the door open for guys like Quinn Costello to show us there's something wrong with him not being in the top 50 in the country.
Yeah, he played real well. He was lighting it up.
I mean, I had a veteran NBA team scout compare him to a Keith Van Horn type player.
Yeah.
You're seeing athleticism, length, skill, range in the jumper, agile in transition. I mean, in this class, there's not 50 better players in the country than him.
Did you see him take that hard spill and get up?
And tough too.
Stayed in the game, yeah.
Really tough kid, got hit hard, came back, shot the free throws. We talked about Braden Kyman. He is committed to Eastern Washington, where his brother played. If he ends up going there, that's an absolute steal. I'm sorry, he's going to Washington State.
Yeah, I thought that's what he
My apologies. His brother played for Eastern Washington. Okay. David Riley, the coach there, moved on to Washington State.
Okay.
That's a very good pickup in the Pac-12 for him. Zion Green, formerly at Imhotep, played last year at Camden. He had a lot of good moments.
He did. And
we had good size from a lot of the New England kids, the African kids. Collins, Collins, Big Theo. I'm not going to pronounce their name. Joe Philon, and his name is pronounced differently. We talked about the Philly kids, Luca Foster, Sammy Jackson, Tyler Sutton, Mekhi Robertson. Quality players, and I think the true test of this camp and any camp is 4 or 5 years ago, who ends up being that underrated player, like a Tyrese Halliburton that kind of blossoms at the end, or Damian Lillard, Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, guys who were not heralded early in their high school careers, who got better later. And I think there are a few of them on my mind here that are possibly in the same path here. But another guy I think is a big-time guy is the modern-day sophomore, going to be a junior, DeMarcus Henry.
Okay,
big lefty wing, can shoot it, is athletic.
Yeah, he's
has
very
great athletic genes. Father played in the NFL as a wide receiver. His older brother is the top wide receiver in the country at modern day. Is headed to Ohio State, already verbally committed.
Okay.
And DeMarcus Henry has 5-star written all over him, Pat. What's not to like? 6'7". He's athletic, can shoot it. Lefty. Talented, very, very
Lefty.
talented.
How about Jacob Lanier?
Jacob Lanier is very consistent. Back-to-back camps, back-to-back top 30 game MVPs. Shot the ball early on. He kind of broke that game open for the blue team.
Yeah, he did.
That was a tight game at first, and even though the final margin looked kind of wide, he was a difference of giving that blue team that space to kind of race out in front and take that game over.
I hadn't seen Josh Irving since over at McBride, and he looked good. Hitting a couple of threes, got a couple of
He's got a
catch
good
hands.
length. He's got a little tougher, a little stronger. But Coach Anthony Brooks over there, Pasadena, doing a good job on him. Very good student.
Yes, sir.
4.0 student. What I've been told. Julie's event,
Oh,
I thought was very solid.
Yeah, me too. Anthony's son. Yeah.
Blue collar, power forward, meat and potatoes,
Yes,
lunch
sir.
pail. I like the way he plays. Another late addition to the camp, Jacob Weber, last minute addition.
He got a strap. He was
And
stroking that thing.
Arguably as good a shooter here as we had. In the top 60 game, there were a couple guys that I thought had top 30 potential. We didn't have room for everybody, obviously. Shane Pendergrass, monster game in the top 60, 11 for 19. Known as a energy four-man, but in that game showed a propensity to eventually evolve into a face-up four at 4 for 9 from the three.
Well, that's the one that had 27. He was stuck on 27. He was
Shane
trying to get that third.
Pendergrass.
Yeah. He was balling. That was the first.
DC area native, Hargrave Military Academy. Then Jason Lopez, one of the smallest players here, tough, hard-nosed, can make shots.
Yeah, he had this freaky layup in the All-Star.
Probably, arguably the top two-sport player here. He's a high major offers from football too as a wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
Jason Lopez,
Nice.
Brandon Bass was good. We talked about him. Musa Kamisoko had top 30 caliber
Oh,
talent.
yeah, he's linky.
Some of the scouts, he reminds you a lot of Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, he's slinky and linky.
But I think his reason for not being in that top game, he was not consistent this weekend. And his energy, according to a lot of the scouts that we talked to, was lacking. If he can get his motor up, get focused, be consistent. Tyron Frazier, one of the best dunks in those two All-Star games. He reminds me a lot of Jaden McDaniels.
Okay.
Kind of has
I
that
can
kind
see
of, long, athletic body. He shot the ball fairly well. He had 6 points on the game. Nikolas Mitrovic, the Serbian, going to Cats Academy.
Mitrovic. I like that name.
Mitrovic.
That's a
Serbian.
different one.
And what's not to like Ty Bell?
I was about to bring him up.
I mean, he's got a bright future, 5 for 6 in 10 points. He was terrific all tournament, all camp long.
Yeah, he was.
O'Neal Delancey.
Oh, yeah, he was stroking that thing, 22 points in the first game.
Joseph Hartman had a good camp. He's had a great spring. Son of the Florida assistant Colin Hartman,
Okay.
who won the national title recently. Cameron Cooper,
From right here, Bishop Gorman.
had a very good camp. His father, former UNLV assistant. Dooney Johnson.
Oh, yeah, he's a hustler, glue guy, too.
Energy guy, blue collar guy. Chris Washington showed well in the All-Star game.
Chris Wash.
And it was a lot of other good players. Trey Keith could have been in one of the games. We didn't have room for him. Guard out of Atlanta, Tri-Cities
Okay.
in Atlanta. So it was a solid camp. The emergence of Caden Bailey, man, the question becomes how long does it, or is it going to take before the national scouts realize how good he is? Played very well in the EYBL, has played well here, played very well the last couple of years, and I think maybe the size might be not as attractive to most people, but his shot is getting quicker. It's something about a year ago I kind of took note and made it a point to have him emphasize about a year ago.
On what?
Is getting a quicker
Oh,
release.
get the quicker release? Okay.
At the next levels, your window to get that shot off, no matter how accurate, it's going to be smaller. And you showed a lot of that quickness. He's shooting the ball not just accurate, but shooting it quicker. And that's going to be a very big, I think, advantage for him as he continues to play against older, bigger, faster, athletic guys to get that shot off. Because when his shot's falling and when he's cooking.
Oh man, you don't have to tell me.
Right. It's almost like Chef Curry.
Really, that's not an exaggeration either.
Chef Kate.
So yeah, a lot of talent out here. We had 3 courts going. You know, you had to bounce around to different courts and have a score sheet, a stat sheet to keep up with these guys. That's the great thing about this camp every year, having it here at Bishop Gorman. I thank Grant Rice for allowing us the platform to pull this off.
Want to make also note of the coaching staff. We had great coaches. Corey Duke, head coach of Democracy Prep, did a fantastic job. Eric Brown, longtime assistant at Iowa State, USC, Long Beach State, Northridge.
And Greg Lockridge. Coach Lock.
From Trinity Prep. We had
Coach Rob.
And Mike Teller does a great job. Mike Myers is the ultimate camp coach. Does everything for doing the laundry. So organized, so dependable, so loyal. Mike Myers, if there's a basketball Hall of Fame in heaven for basketball support staff, he would be first ballot.
Okay.
He's terrific. Mike Myers. We're blessed, and I don't want to take for granted some of the people here that have helped with this camp for years. Jesse Evans, multiple years now, former head coach at Louisiana Lafayette, San Francisco, was a long-time Lute Olson assistant at Arizona, won a national title with Lute in '97 with Mike Bibby and Miles Simon.
Jason
Terry.
Bennett Davidson.
Josh Pastner was a walk-on at the time.
A.J. Bramlett.
Yeah, he recruited a lot of those guys.
Okay.
And we were kind of blessed here. It is not easy to pull off. It looks a lot easier than it appears. But we're 24 years in, 1 year away from the 25th anniversary. You know, look back on it, the memories. Kyle Lowry, is he still playing?
No, he didn't play last year. But where was it start? Long Beach City?
So we started at the Warrior Center.
The Warrior Center.
Went from the Warrior Center in Cypress
to Cabrillo.
We went to USC for a couple of years.
Okay.
Then we went to Cabrillo with Harrison Barnes, celebrated his birthday at the Westin Hotel downtown Long Beach.
Okay.
Cal State Dominguez, we were in there for a year or two.
Then Cerritos.
And the Cerritos had great members at Cerritos, from Anthony Edwards to Evan Mobley.
Cole Anthony.
Cade Cunningham, Cole Anthony. Charles Bassey, Scotty Barnes, NBA Rookie of the Year. And then obviously since COVID, we've been here in Vegas. And it's been a hell of a run. I think we, again, this camp right here, I like the depth of it. I like the young guards that we had here. I think I have a chance a year from now to be household names. The Gardner kid's terrific.
You forgot to bring up Raheem Green.
Raheem Green, too, the Canadian kids here. And obviously we had a good turnout again of NBA scouts. A good environment for the kids to compete and to show their skills.
Yes, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the NBN Nothing But Net podcast, brought to you by Triple Threat Collectibles.
And from all of us at Hooked on Hoops, Nothing But Net, Hooked on Hoops, thanks and have a good evening.